Let's go.
In 2024, The Substance absolutely horrified audiences. It was a vicious and unflinching look at the nightmare of chasing youth, and it was packed with some of the most stomach-churning body horror we've seen in years. But we're not opening the case file on The Substance. Instead, a film that beat it to the punch nearly 40 years earlier, a 1988 practical effects gem that nobody talks about. Rejuvenator. A film I picked up on a whim for a couple of quid because the cover of a veiny mutating face looked pretty cool. A grimy little VHS era body horror film that The Substance forgot to credit and somehow predicted the exact nightmare modern horror audiences are obsessing over today. When people talk about body horror classics, the same names always come up. The Fly, The Thing, Society and From Beyond if someone's feeling particularly slimy. But buried beneath all those better-known cult films is a strange little monster called Rejuvenator, a low-budget horror film about a washed-up actress who becomes addicted to a youth serum that literally feeds on human brains. And watching it now after The Substance feels almost surreal, because despite the budget differences and direct-to-video aesthetic, these films are practically distant relatives. Both are obsessed with aging, beauty, fame, bodily decay, and the horrifying lengths people will go to remain desirable. But where The Substance is sleek and polished, Rejuvenator is a film that exists solely in the realm of the fuzzy, grimy VHS rental era. This has never had an official DVD or Blu-ray restoration. That filthiness might be why it still works.
Brain's been ripped out.
The setup feels instantly familiar now. It's like Sunset Boulevard meets The Wasp Woman. Former actress Ruth Warren is terrified of aging and fading into irrelevance.
Look at me. I'm an old woman.
Because in Hollywood horror, aging is often treated like a kind of living death, where the loss of beauty becomes monstrous, and Rejuvenator takes that fear to grotesque extremes. A doctor develops an experimental anti-aging serum derived from human tissue and brain matter. At first, the treatment works.
It's working.
Yes.
Ruth becomes younger and more desirable, even giving herself a new name, Elizabeth.
I am now known to the staff as Ruth Warren's niece, Elizabeth.
The same name as Demi Moore's character in The Substance. Homage, or just coincidence? But naturally, the side effects begin. And this is where the film transitions from sleazy sci-fi into full-blown body horror nightmare. The serum doesn't simply preserve youth, it creates dependency. The effects wear off after 24 hours. Elizabeth needs more, and eventually real human brains.
I didn't do it, Greg. That other thing did.
The pursuit of beauty turns into consumption, and aging actresses are discarded unless they feed the machine. Which is what makes the film unexpectedly clever beneath all the gore effects. The movie turns Hollywood itself into a vampire story. Youth is currency, beauty is survival. That's the thing modern audiences might not expect from Rejuvenator. Underneath the cheap sets and bubbling prosthetics is a genuinely nasty little satire about celebrity culture. This grimy, street-level New York cynicism comes straight from director Brian Thomas Jones. This was his debut feature film. Jones didn't just set out to make a monster movie. He used the budget he had to perform an autopsy on the concept of Hollywood fame. Elizabeth isn't evil at first. She's scared of becoming invisible.
Do you know how long it's been, Gregory, since I've had a decent part?
And that fear feels weirdly timeless now, especially after The Substance tackled the same anxiety decades later. but the difference between the two films is fascinating. The substance approaches the material like an art installation. It's beautiful while showing ugliness. Rejuvenator doesn't care about beauty. It feels sweaty and slimy, like being stuck in a mosh pit at a heavy metal gig. Everything has that late 80s medical industrial grime. This was the golden age of practical effects body horror, and Rejuvenator arrived right near the end of it. By the late 80s, horror filmmakers were obsessed with transformation, melting bodies, mutating flesh, biological corruption, human anatomy turning against itself. The fear was your own body betraying you, and Rejuvenator leans fully into that idea. The practical effects weren't just a low-budget afterthought, they were handled by Ed French. If that name sounds familiar, French is the same artist who would go on to work on the effects for Terminator 2 Judgment Day and Star Trek 6. Skin bubbles like boiling water, veins throb and protrude. There's a tactile nastiness modern CGI still struggles to replicate. The practical effects have a goofy sincerity, even the wobbly sausage fingers. The anti-aging serum doesn't create perfection, it destabilises the body. Elizabeth slowly becomes trapped between youth and decay, which makes the film weirdly tragic.
Help me!
Underneath all the violence is somebody desperately trying to stop time.
I don't want to live like this anymore.
It taps into something universal, the terror of watching yourself disappear, and that distinctly 80s obsession with medical experimentation gone wrong. What makes Rejuvenator fascinating today is how relevant it suddenly feels again. Because the anxieties it explored in 1988 never disappeared. If anything, they became worse. We live in a world where the perfect body is only a fat jab away. Social media has turned beauty into permanent performance. Aging became something people are expected to fight rather than embrace. Youth has become content, which makes Rejuvenator feel strangely prophetic now. Underneath the VHS slime and B-movie madness is a story about a culture terrified of aging. A culture willing to mutilate itself in pursuit of perfection.
It's beyond my control now.
Everything's fine.
Exactly like The Substance. The only difference is that one film arrived wrapped in art house prestige, and the other arrived on a dusty rental shelf in 1988.
Whatever happens, I can't wind up any worse off than I am now.
If you've never seen it before, now might be the perfect time to dig this thing back out of the crypt. Till next time, Crypt Dwellers,